In the shattered eastern city of Bakhmut, where its forces have been gaining ground as part of their counteroffensive, Ukraine said on Monday that its troops had caught Russian troops occupying the city in a trap. Russian records of the battling said Moscow's powers had repulsed or contained Ukrainian advances in the east and south. Since the beginning of the month, Ukraine's counteroffensive, which began more than 500 days into the invasion, has focused on capturing villages in the southeast and approaching Russian forces holding Bakhmut. In the south, General Oleksandr Tarnavsky said on message that Ukrainian powers were moving and Russian powers had lost what might be compared to many men north of 24 hours. Despite receiving high-tech Western weapons, President Volodymyr Zelensky claims that the counteroffensive is progressing more slowly than Ukraine had anticipated. Military experts say that Kyiv wanted to show leaders attending the NATO summit in Lithuania starting on Tuesday that they had at least some success. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, their forces had stopped Ukrainian attacks in 3 parts of the Donetsk region, including Klishchivka, which was the scene of fighting in recent days near Bakhmut. According to the ministry, Ukrainian forces claimed to have taken control of the village of Rivnopol 2 weeks ago, and Russian forces reportedly stopped them in the south. Ukrainian Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar told Telegram that Kyiv's forces had reclaimed 10.2 square kilometers of territory in the south and 4 square kilometers in the east over the past week. Since the beginning of the counteroffensive, the Ukrainian military claimed to have retaken 169 square kilometers on the southern front and 24 square kilometers around Bakhmut. Moscow claims that since the counteroffensive began, fighting has been intense. After conducting a full-scale invasion of Ukraine on February 24, 2022, its forces still control substantial portions of the country's eastern and southern regions. The defense forces of Ukraine continued offensive operations in the southern directions of Melitopol and Berdyansk, as well as in the eastern direction of Bakhmut, as reported by the General Staff of the Ukrainian Army on July 11. Near Bakhmut, a Ukrainian assault brigade claims to have liberated 1 kilometer. The Ukrainian Army's 3rd Separate Assault Brigade reported that its 2nd Assault Battalion had defeated units of Russia's 83rd Air Assault Brigade near Bakhmut, capturing the company-level Russian stronghold and positions for further Ukrainian advancement over a kilometer of territory, improving the tactical position of Ukrainian forces in the direction of the city the brigade claims to have liberated. According to Kovalyev, Ukrainian forces are inflicting artillery fire on the identified enemy targets and putting up strong resistance, moving units and troops, actively using reserves at the achieved lines in the directions of Melitopol, Berdyansk, and Bakhmut. The Kupiansk, Lyman, Bakhmut, Avdiivka, and Mariinka directions, where intense fighting continues, continue to be the primary focus of Russian forces' primary efforts. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu implausibly claimed that Russian air defenses have intercepted 176 HIMARS rockets and 27 Storm Shadow cruise missiles since the start of the Ukrainian counteroffensive. By claiming that Ukrainian forces have lost 26,000 service members and 1,244 tanks and infantry fighting vehicles since beginning counteroffensive operations on June 4, Shoigu attempted to portray potential Ukrainian interdiction efforts in southern Ukraine as ineffective. The Institute for Study of War believes that the Russian Ministry of Defense's reporting on Ukrainian losses is probably greatly exaggerated, and even Russian military bloggers have recently accused the Ministry of Defense of counting strikes on vehicles that have already been damaged and destroyed as new losses of Ukrainian equipment. Along these lines, Shoigu might be attempting to depict the Mod as a powerful chief of the conflict in Ukraine following the Wagner Gathering's resistance. In general, the Kremlin didn't do much to react to the first day of the NATO summit. Dmitry Peskov, a spokesperson for the Kremlin, described the NATO summit as having a pronounced, concentrated anti-Russian character. According to ISW, Russian forces carried out a series of She-131 and 136 drone strikes throughout Ukraine on July 11, likely in response to the NATO summit in Vilnius in 2023 and to threaten the Black Sea grain deal. Two drones struck an administrative building at port facility, and Russian forces attempted to strike the grain terminal in Odessa Oblast, according to the Ukrainian Southern Operational Command. According to Captain First Rank Natalya Humanyuk, a spokesperson for the Ukrainian Southern Operational Command, Russian forces targeted port infrastructure to disrupt the Black Sea grain deal.